All right, here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Morning Jitters podcast. Now, it's not Sunday morning. I have audio playing in the background. It's not Sunday morning, but, we're still got to get these picks in. It's week one of the NFL. The season's getting kicked off tomorrow, about 24 hours from now, actually. So we are 24 hours away from getting the season going. Big games to look forward to. My name is Tyler. You can find me at Tyler SMJ Pod on Twitter. I think I just changed it, so pretty sure that's what it is. To the left is BJ. BJ, you want to tell him hello?
What's up, guys? You can follow me at my Twitter and my Instagram. Should be right here. Give me a follow. Appreciate you guys for stopping by.
And then last but not least, we have Derek here on the bottom of your screen. Derek, say hello.
How's everybody doing? Like I said, hopefully everybody's ready for football tomorrow.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be a good one. We've had all kinds of news come out. I thought this news segment was gonna be a pretty short one coming into the stream today. I was like, man, we'll be able to blow through this. We'll get right to the picks. We'll get to the fantasy football. Fuck no, we got news came out of everywhere. So without stalling anymore, we'll hand it off to BJ to break down all the news.
For sure. And the big news that came out today was Nick Bosa. He signed a 5-year, $170 million, 122.5 guaranteed, which is about 34 per year. And this looks like it's the start of non-quarterback players getting paid quarterback money. And I mean, it's just a trend that's been happening, especially with elite pass rushers. I think Justin Jefferson is probably going to crack that mark. Tyreek Hill was trying to get that from Kansas City. They said fuck no. Which brings me to Chris Jones. He's still holding out. He's still waiting to get paid. And after Nick Bosa just got paid, I'm pretty sure he's like, yeah, see, that's what I want. Chandler Jones. This happened recently. He kind of went on a social media rant. And he was posting all over his Instagram stories about like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to play for the Raiders. I don't want this as my head coach. He just kind of went off. So he's been away from the team. That's going to be tricky. And then Brian Burns, he's currently holding out too. He's waiting for a new contract. So all of the pass rushers are waiting to get paid. That's going to be crazy. A lot of big contracts going to come out. The season starts pretty soon. Not to mention Mike Evans, he wants a brand new contract as well. He's 30 years old. He's in the last year of his contract. We could be seeing the last year of Mike Evans for the Buccaneers. Now to the injuries. There's been a lot of injuries, and especially when it comes to fantasy football and just football in general. First, I'll start with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee in practice. His status is questionable for the game. A lot of Twitter doctors, like with the verified checks, saying they think he might miss week one. We'll see. Cooper Kupp, he is out week one. Sean McVay said that he may be an IR participant, which will put him out for 4 games. That's brutal. Cooper Kupp has already injured his hamstring twice this offseason. He could be looking at missing a couple of games this season. That would be huge for the Rams. I mean, that would be time for tanking, in my opinion. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Packers wide receivers, both did not practice because of hamstring issues. No status on their game time. Lions, Emmanuel Mosley, defensive back. He is out week one. DJ Chark for the Panthers, his hamstring, he did not practice. Adam Thielen and Terrace Marshall were both limited. Seahawks, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the rookie they drafted this year, he should be able to play on Sunday. Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin, his toe, he's going to be questionable. And then Joe Burrow, he's going to be a game time decision, but they say he should play because of that calf injury he suffered. And that should do it.
Lots and lots of news today, man. It did not stop coming after a certain point. Lots of stuff. Good job, BJ. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the pick'em portion of the segment. We're gonna go through each and every game that is on the schedule this week. We're going to break it down, give you our opinion on who we think is going to win, and then this is something we're going to keep track on throughout the season. We'll keep a record, and that'd be something fun to keep an eye on audience wise, and also between us, because I'm curious. I'd like to see how this plays out between the three of us and the four of us whenever Jacob gets back from his time off. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. Derek, who do you have? Thursday night football kicking off the NFL season about 24 hours from now. We've got Detroit at Kansas City, and KC, funny enough, yesterday was 6.5 point favorites, and after the Travis Kelce news came out, they're 4.5 point favorites now. So
I still got to go with KC. I said even with the injury with Travis Kelce, I stayed KC still wins it. Patrick Mahomes is going to do what he's going to do, so I think he slings the rock everywhere anyway. So I know he's going to miss his main target, but I think he can do without him for at least a week.
Yeah, I'm gonna take KC too. Now, if it was not in Arrowhead, I would take Detroit, but since it's still in Kansas City, I'll take them. I think Justin Ross will step up. The other wide receivers will step up. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and I think they'll be fine. Hopefully, Chris Jones is back. Now, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce not playing, then I might regret taking Kansas City.
yeah, I'm right there with y'all, man. We're making it KC. Clean sweep across the board. Arrowhead is so hard to play at. They were 7-1 last year at home. And that offense, I feel like with Patrick Mahomes there, you can pretty much put anybody in the offense and just make it work, kind of like Tom Brady did back in the day. But we shall see. We're going to put it to the test. Let's go ahead and move on. Now we're to the noon games on Sunday. First game up, Derek, is Houston at Baltimore. Baltimore comes in as 10-point favorites. Who you got?
Like I said, I have Baltimore. I don't think Houston's ready for, like I said, game one. I don't think C.J. Stroud, even though he is getting better, I don't think he has hit that mark yet to be a producing starter. So I'd have to say Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore too, but I want to say it might be closer than you think. Marlon Humphrey is out. The Ravens were already very, very thin at cornerback. They brought in, I think, Ronald Darby. So, they paid Burnt Toast a lot of money to go out there. And I think it may be closer than you think. I think they got a lot of speedy wide receivers out there in Houston. I think it'll be closer than you think. I think the defense will still hold their own, though.
That is another clean sweep across the board. I have Baltimore as well. Texans were not a good team last year, 3-13-1. They've got some pieces in place. We'll see how it turns out, but as it stands now, they're just pieces. They have no NFL experience. They're rookies, man. Until they prove something, until they prove they belong in this league, you can't trust them as far as you can throw them. Don't overthink this one. Take Baltimore. Go ahead and keep it moving, man. We're going to another noon game, Derek. We got Jacksonville at Indianapolis, and Indy is 5.5 point home dogs here. Who you got?
Ooh, I said with this one, I think I'm going to have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like I said, they just have a more experienced quarterback. Like I said, they're getting Calvin Ridley back, even though they're saying that Calvin Ridley may not be exactly what we think he is coming back. Like I said, but I think Jacksonville is going to win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jacksonville too. The Colts are not going to have Jonathan Taylor. They're going to have a rookie quarterback at the helm. And I don't think that the Colts are going to be a very good team. I think they're going to be vying for a top 10 pick to maybe get some more weapons or maybe shore up the defense. I think I'm really high on the Jags. I think Jags going to go in there and actually cover the spread as well.
That's going to be 3 clean sweeps across the board. I got Jacksonville as well. Anthony Richardson brings you that firecracker potential. It could be fun to watch, but same situation as Houston. They got pieces, but until they actually prove it in the NFL, I don't trust you, and the rest of the league doesn't trust you either. Especially a quarterback that only played one full season at college. So that's going to be something interesting to watch.
My thing was just mainly he didn't have Jonathan Taylor. I said Jonathan Taylor is solid.
Good point. Missing that big piece for who knows how long. But another noon game, Derek. Who you got between this one? Carolina at Atlanta. Atlanta 3.5 point favorites.
I'm going with Atlanta. Just because, like I said, you got Bijan. I think Bijan's going to come out game one, running the ball, catching the ball. He's going to be doing it all. Then I still also believe a little bit in Desmond Ritter. So I would have to say I'm a little bit more confident in Desmond Ritter than Bryce Young in the Carolina because they don't have any weapons now. As they said, they're all hurt. So I had to go with Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlanta too. I mentioned injuries. I mean, they were already thin. DJ Chark, he might be out. Adam Thielen, they're both dealing with some injuries. They might not be 100%. They're gonna have to rely on Bryce Young and rookie Jonathan Mingo. And I'm just not thinking. I don't think they can hang with the Falcons. And a lot of people are up on the Falcons. They think they're a sleeper team. I'm kind of in that same boat. I can definitely see them, competing for that division. So I got them taking this one.
Yes, sir. That is another clean sweep. I have Atlanta as well. I am one of the people who's on the Falcons ship this year, man. I think they're going to be much improved from last year. I mean, they've got a lot of big free agent additions on the defense. Plus, they got firepower on offense, baby. And once again, this is another rookie quarterback coming into the big leagues. We don't know what he's going to be. Regardless of how high they were picked, you can't trust him until you see him on the field for probably a few years. Quarterbacks tend to break sometimes. Carson Wentz. Sorry, that was a low blow, BJ. My bad. All right. Move on to the next noon game. We got Cincinnati at Cleveland, Derek, and Cleveland opens up as 2.5 point home dogs. Who you got?
I'm going to still go with Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow's going to play, and like I said, I just like that offense in Cincinnati a lot better.
So this is where we have a first difference. I'm going with the Browns. So I don't. Joe Burrow, I think whenever they opened against the Cowboys, was it last year or the year before? I don't know, but when they came out, they put up an absolute stinker. And then maybe it wasn't a home opener, but I know they played the Steelers in a home opener and got smoked too. So the Bengals have just not been very good at home openers or actually season openers. And I think the Browns defense, they definitely got a whole lot better. I think they're just going to hand the ball off to Nick Chubb, throw it to Amari Cooper. Deshaun Watson, I'm hoping maybe with a full offseason and get rapport with his weapons. I think maybe they can come out and actually get them a dub at home.
Good pick. BJ and myself see eye to eye on this one. I'm going with Cleveland as well. It's hard to root against a home dog. It's hard to pick against them, man. I think it's going to be a real tough game. That 2.5 point spread might actually be too much. I might take the under on that one. It might be a single point that decides it. But the biggest deciding factor for me coming into this one was Joe Burrow's health, because he's got that calf issue that he's been nursing for the last couple weeks. And the Browns are running out Za'Darius Smith and Myles Garrett. So if you're not 100% with your legs, you're gonna be you might be in for a long day. So I'm going with Cleveland on this one, and this is where we have our first difference. It only took like half the schedule, but we got there. Moving on. Noon game, Tampa Bay at Minnesota, and Minnesota at 6 point favorites. Derek?
I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings, just because you can't go against Jay Jetta. I don't know. That's just me. He was ranked number 2 overall in the top 100 for a reason. So. And then with the addition of, like I said, Jordan Addison to help get him open a little bit or take some of that pressure off.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks, but as soon as Tyler said noon game, I regretted it because you don't go against Kirk Cousins in a noon game. If you want to in prime time, sure, but a noon game, Kirk Cousins brings it. But I'm gonna stick with the Bucks. And because of my reasoning, I think they're just going to play defense, and they're going to hand the ball off and throw the ball to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans if Mike Evans is still there. So I think Baker Mayfield can be a really good game manager, and they can kind of pull off an upset here. I don't think the Vikings are going to be that good this year. I think they're going to be one of those teams that have huge regression and possibly miss the playoffs. I know how good Justin Jefferson is. He might put up 200 yards, but they still might lose the game.
Fair point. This one was closer than I thought it would be as well, but I ended up picking the Vikings. And the very first note that I had on this one is the Vikings defense is going to keep this closer than it should be because, they're running out a ton of firepower on offense, but their defense is so bad. So I could see a world where Tampa Bay ends up getting the upset here. But it is a home game for Minnesota. Tampa's going to have to travel in this one, plus deal with that firepower on offense. So I'm gonna stick with Minnesota here. Move on to the next game we got here is another noon game. Tennessee at New Orleans, and New Orleans 3-point favorites. Derek?
I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. I think Derek Carr is a little bit underrated right now. I think he's actually going to. I feel like he's going to go off this game. Some in me just saying I think he's going to go off and hit Chris Olave for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. I got the Saints. I like in the same boat as you. I really feel like this is like the perfect first game for the new Saints. With Derek Carr led, you get a very terrible Titans team who really don't know what they're doing with their quarterback situation. Yeah, you got Derrick Henry, but if you just load the box and make Tannehill or whoever they're putting that quarterback throw the ball, I understand they got Treylon Burks and DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Saints defense is always good. Yeah, I got Saints. I'm really surprised it's only a 3-point spread, honestly.
All right, this is where I'm going to have to split off from the group here. I got Tennessee getting the upset. Honestly, this is kind of a nightmare matchup for the Saints if you look at it. Yeah, Tennessee's not going to be a great team this year. They're definitely going to have their struggles, but in this game, last year the Saints they allowed 130 rushing yards per game, and now they have to deal with Derrick Henry and Spears. So I'm feeling like even with the Saints being top 5 defense or whatever they were last year, they were solid across the board. They still allowed a whole lot of rushing yards, and in my opinion, there's not much more of a worse backfield to go against. If you can't stop the run, then Derrick Henry and Spears, man, that's rough. So I got Tennessee with the upset. Moving on to the next noon game, we got San Francisco at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh opens up as 2.5-point home dogs. Derek, who you got, man?
I got San Fran. I got the 49ers. I think just their defense is just solid. Kyle Shanahan, his offense is just pretty solid as well. Like I said, he's gonna throw the ball sometimes, but like I said, he's got a run game too. So overall, I say just San Fran.
Yeah, I'm gonna go San Fran too. I don't like it, and because I expect the 49ers to win 11 to 14 games this year. So they're not going to lose many. So they're going to beat teams they should beat. And I think this is a team they should beat. But I can definitely see in a world where maybe they're like, oh, man, Brock Purdy, maybe he's not him. So, but I got the 49ers in this one.
Yeah, yep. That's what I got too, man. We got another clean sweep, San Fran across the board. I think Pittsburgh's going to be better than they were in 2023, but San Francisco is just so good. One of the best teams in the league. I don't think they go up against a team like Pittsburgh and come out with an L very frequently. So just going with the common sense pick of San Fran. Gonna keep it moving. Noon game, Arizona at Washington. Washington 7-point favorites.
Again, I have Washington. I just think the Cardinals are just tanking this year. I'm pretty sure they're trying to get Caleb Williams or something, but they're just tanking. They're giving all their picks, all the good players away, just acquiring picks as best they can for, I guess, their new upcoming quarterback that they're going to try to get. So I got to go Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to take Washington too, and I don't even think Washington has to play all that well to still win this game.
Yep, that's where I'm at too. I don't think there's many games to where it's going to be somebody playing Arizona to where I actually pick Arizona, man. It's just not a good football team. They're not in good shape. It's a pretty big shit show over there, and most weeks, whoever is playing Arizona, that's who I'm picking to win. Moving on, we're done with the noon games now. 3:25, first 3:25 game of the year. We got Green Bay at Chicago. Chicago 1-point favorites.
This was tough for me. Like I said, it's just this will be Jordan Love's first game basically as a starter with his, and I think I'm going with Chicago just because I believe a little bit more in Justin Fields. That's all I can say. I just believe a little bit more in Justin Fields, and normally their Chicago's defense is pretty decent, so I'd have to go with Chicago.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chicago too. They brought in two new linebackers, Tremaine Evans and TJ Edwards. It gave them both big contracts. They had a really good offseason bringing in DJ Moore, and Justin Fields better be fucking good because I am tired of them comparing him to Jalen Hurts and how he's about to take that Jalen Hurts step. Oh, he's actually better than Jalen Hurts. He just doesn't have Jalen Hurts' team. So he better fucking win this game. He better beat the Packers, and he's at home because if he loses, he will get shit on for the rest of the week.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment, man. This one was a coin flip for me too. Couldn't really figure out who I liked best here, so I just went with the team that was at home. I feel like the Bears might have a slightly more explosive offense. It helps that the Packers are missing a couple of their receivers too coming into this. But in my opinion, both quarterbacks are a question mark, so I just leaned on the offense that I felt more comfortable with at home. So picking the Chicago Bears. Another 3:25 game. We got Las Vegas at Denver. And Denver, 3.5-point favorites. Derek, who you got?
In this one, I want to go with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are still going to do something in this game. I still don't believe Russell Wilson will be the Russell Wilson of the past. I think it's going to take a couple games underneath Sean Payton to get him back to it. I don't think he's back there just yet. So, he could prove me otherwise, but I'm going to have to take the Raiders on this one.
Awesome. We have different teams. I'm going to go with Denver. It's at home. Like I said off record, I think Russell Wilson is definitely going to. I'm not saying he's going to have the MVP season that he was, but I think he can be better than shit that he was last year. And as long if there was a stat that if the Denver offense scored at least 15 to 17 points a game, they would have won 10 games. Their defense is absolutely ferocious. And if that defense can still carry over, I think they're going to give the new Raiders look, which is Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to give them a hard time. I like Josh Jacobs. It's kind of a scary matchup for him, but I'm going to take Denver at home. I think the new Sean Payton, Russell Wilson regime, they come out with a bang with a division win.
That's exactly how I'm feeling, man. I've got Denver at home as well. I think Sean Payton's going to have this team in better shape than they were last year because last year was just an absolute shit show. It was the worst case scenario for the Broncos. And what's funny about that, the Raiders only won one more game than the Broncos last year with all the shit that was happening with the Broncos. So, and Denver's also a really hard place to play. Mile High Stadium. They got that killer defense, like BJ was saying. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to have the type of year that he had last year either, because I don't think Josh Jacobs is that good, to be honest. So I'm riding with the Broncos.
Whoa, that's crazy to say.
That's like the first decent year. So, I hate running backs. I hate all running backs. 3:25 game. We got Miami at the LA Chargers, and the Chargers are 3-point favorites. Derek, I know you were talking about this one earlier, so I'm curious.
Hey, this is a very tough one for me. It was kind of a coin flip for me, but I think Miami's going to come in to, like I said, to the Chargers' home and just throw bombs all day. Like I said, even though they don't have a real good running game, I think Miami's going to come out and just ball out. But it's a huge coin flip for me, like I said, because you got you got Herbert on the other side, and it's just, I don't know. Like I said, it's very tough for me, but I think Miami's going to come in with Tyreek running them streaks
When you look at this game, Miami at Chargers, the first thing that comes to your mind is so much fucking points. And I couldn't really decide who I wanted, so I took the home team Chargers in this one. But I definitely could see this being a shootout and just who got the ball last kind of game. The Chargers are definitely going to want to try out their new weapon in Quentin Johnson. They're going to have that nice trio if all three of them are going to be healthy. I mean, but then on the other side, you got Tyreek and Waddle as well, but you got Austin Eckler. And I'm not really sure how Miami's run defense was, but with that firepower and that new in the Kellen Moore's offense, oh Lord, yes, I'll take that.
Same page again, man. I'm also taking the Chargers. And while I was just looking over my notes, I just realized that I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think the Chargers might beat the brakes off the Dolphins. If we're just looking at it statistically here, man. The Dolphins are coming in with super high-powered offense, weapons all over the place, and Mike McDaniel. But the Chargers last year were 7th in the league in passing yards allowed. They got a good and also they got a good pass rush. They got a good secondary, good pass rush. The Dolphins were 27th in passing yards allowed last year, and they're not going to have Jalen Ramsey to start the season. So that's a pretty big blow right there. I think, like BJ was saying, Kellen Moore's going to come in and he's going to cook. Let that man cook. Let him free. Set him free, baby. Give him all the firepower. So yeah, I got the Chargers in this one, man. Keep it moving on. Another 3:25 game. Philadelphia at New England. New England 4-point home dogs. Derek, who do you like in this one?
I'm gonna take Philly on this one. I think Philly's gonna beat the dog. Like I said, beat the dog shit out of both. Like I said, out of New England, because it's just I believe a little bit more in Jalen Hurts than Mac Jones, and just the weapons there. Like I said, Philly's got weapons. I don't think New England has any. There's a case, like I said, people were saying there's rumors about Juju Smith-Schuster's his knees going to blow out sometime soon, sometime this year. Who knows? But other than that, they don't really have any weapons, so I have to go with Philly.
Let me paint y'all a picture really quick. Last year, when Philly was on their winning streak, they had won 7 straight games or 8 straight games. They lost to the Washington Commanders. How did they lose? Because Washington controlled the clock with the run game, didn't make mistakes, and played pretty good defense. I think that's exactly what the Patriots are going to do. They're going to hand the ball to Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott. I don't like Zeke either. I like him as a person, but I definitely don't think he's going to be anything to worry about, but he kills Philly a lot. So I think they're going to run the ball, play really good defense. Maybe Philly gets off to a slow start. Maybe they're actually part of the Super Bowl hangover crew. Maybe, Jalen Hurts, it takes them a little bit. They didn't get any preseason action. Zero, zilch, not a single snap of live preseason game. The Patriots, I think they got a little bit of work. So and plus, guess what? Boom, this entire night is honoring Tom Brady. I think there is definitely a world where Philly loses this game. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Pats on this one.
That's interesting. Coming into this one, we talked about it, and you told me you were going to pick New England. I didn't actually think you were going to do it, but also you kind of talked me into thinking, yeah, a little bit. You made some good points there. I feel like the whole playing in the preseason thing is a little bit underrated. It's nice to have everybody healthy, but at the same time, I've seen seasons where the Cowboys open up after not playing a snap and they look fucking terrible. So I could see how that would play in, but I don't buy it, man. Philly's gonna win this one. New England is just not good. Their offense is boring. They don't have any firepower. They've got Mac fucking Jones at quarterback. I don't want anything to do with anything New England. Mac Jones is gonna have to deal with Philly's defense. All them young dudes ready to prove themselves on the. I wouldn't. Poor Mac Jones, man. Poor Mac Jones. Taking Philly. Last 3:25 game that we have on the spread here for week 1. LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. Derek, what you thinking? Seattle's 5.5 point favorites. My bad.
I was still going to pick Seattle. Like I said, I think Seattle with Geno Smith, I think from just seeing last year, I think he's proved himself a little bit more. Why he's a starting quarterback. I said he has uh, Lockett. He's got DK Metcalf, and then like I said, the new addition of JSN. I think they're just going to throw the ball a lot more. Plus, like I said, they got the solid run game of Zach Charbonnet and K9. So I have to go the Seahawks over on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Seattle too, and Seattle's offense looks kind of scary this year. Honestly, I mean, last year they were really fucking good, but now you add Jackson Smith and Jibba, and then you add some insurance behind Kenneth Walker with Zach Charbonnet, and man, this offense looks deadly. And Rams, they're not gonna have Cooper Cup. They're gonna be in some trouble this year. I think they're actually gonna be one of those teams that may be vying for that top 5 pick, low key. I don't think they're gonna be any good this year, and I think this is the time that they blow it up.
I agree with the crew here. The Rams, they're still lacking talent all over the place from going forward a couple years ago to get them a ring. Still dealing with those repercussions. One of the only good players that they had left is Cooper Kupp, and he's not going to be playing. So, I've already said that I think Seattle has a really good team, and I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the NFC, and possibly be vying for that Super Bowl representation in the NFC. So when it comes to light work like the Rams, they handle that shit and they move on. Let's keep it moving here. Sunday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. And the Giants opened up as 3-point home dogs. Derek, who do you like?
I'm a little biased on this one. So I'm going to have to still say the Cowboys. Just because I think Dallas's defense is just, they're monsters. They got some pass rushers who are going to come at you, screaming at you, real, and you got to throw that ball out pretty quick. And I mean, Danny Dimes, who knows if he's actually going to be slinging them dimes out there. Plus, their wide receiver room with the Giants is just so just rookies, just a bunch of rookies, and I don't trust them, so I have to go with the Cowboys with my bias.
Yeah, in a non-biased opinion, I'm gonna take the Cowboys too. And I was actually thinking in my mind, I'm like, is there a way that the Giants can keep this close? Not even win it, but like keep this close. And in a world, I don't really see it. I definitely see the Cowboys winning by like 10 points. Not anything crazy, but I really don't think it'll be close. I've said it many times. I think Cowboys are kind of due this year for just that really monster season, and I think they're going to handle the Giants. I don't even remember the last time the Cowboys lost to the Giants, honestly.
Dak Prescott wasn't the starting quarterback the last time they lost to the Giants. Yeah, I got the Cowboys as well. If you just look at their roster top to bottom, they have one of the best teams in the league on paper. And I don't think the Giants' upgrades are really that big of upgrades. I feel like they just kind of move sideways, maybe up just a hair, but I'm still just not scared of what they're running out on offense. I do think, they didn't play a whole lot of reps in the preseason. They did get some work, the starters did, but I'd expect this game to be a little bit close. First game of the season, you're going to a very hostile environment up there in New York. I could see this being a close game, and it's NFC East. The NFC East games are usually pretty close, so I got the Cowboys winning this one, but it'll be a close game. Move on to the last game that we have, week 1, closing out with the big monster up in the lights on Broadway. Buffalo Bills at New York Jets. The Jets open up as 2.5-point home dogs. Derek?
Man, this is another one of them coin flips, man. This was a hard one for me. But I think I chose the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out. Like I said, he's got a new, fresh start. He's got weapons out there. Like I said, he's got a good run game now. You got Breece Hall. He's going to be working Breece Hall in slowly. But then you got Dalvin Cook, like I said, who's a veteran out there. So he's got a run game. His O-line protects him pretty well. And you just got the weapons. Like I said, you got Garrett Wilson out there, McCole Cole Hardman, yeah, and just I think he's just going to go out there, and I think that's going to be the new connection of you're going to be hearing a lot of Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson.
You're taking the Jets?
Yeah, I'd say I'm taking the Jets.
Okay. I'm taking the Bills. I think Garrett Wilson is about to get that Tre'Davious White treatment. I think Tre'Davious White is still one of the best corners in the league. He's kind of suffered through a little bit of injuries and things like that, but I think they finally get Tre'Davious White back to where he can be. And I think the Jets realize we might need more than just Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard if we want to win this division. I got the Bills. I think they're going to come in. I can see a world where the Jets maybe start off slow and then run the table like Aaron Rodgers loves to do. I can definitely see a world where that happens. So I think the Bills just come out hotter than the Jets. But I don't know, that defense that Jets is toting out there, that's gonna be something good. Sauce Gardner versus Stephon Diggs is gonna be really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of great matchups in this one. This is going to be a blast to watch. Definitely the most fun game of the week, and it might end up being the most fun game of the season. Who knows? At least we get another one later down the line. But I got the Jets too, I guess. Like, I don't really know who to pick here. I feel like you can make a case either way, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I'm going to go with the Jets. They're the home team. Aaron Rodgers has been a thorn in my side as a Cowboys fan for my entire existence. If he's still the Aaron Rodgers of old that we're used to, I feel like they've got enough firepower and their defense is good enough that they can stop the Bills. Just a fun fact, last year the Bills had the second overall defense in terms of points allowed, and the Jets had the fourth overall defense in terms of points allowed. And the difference was like 0.8 points or something like that. It was 17.9 for the Bills, and the Jets allowed 18.6, so I guess it'd be 0.7, something like that. Either way, two very good defenses. I'm looking forward to seeing them brawl it out. And that is it. That wraps up our week 1 predictions. Everybody give yourselves a round of applause. Good job. Looking forward to seeing how these play out. Now we got one more segment left in the chamber. We're moving on to the Fantasy Football Must-Starts. Shout out to Fantasy Footballers Podcast for start of the week idea. We're trying not to directly rip y'all off, but we're doing something similar. It's a good idea, man. Hey, we're doing what we can. We didn't really talk about this part, so I don't know if we just want to go one player at a time, each person, and then just kind of rotate back through. Are y'all cool with that?
Mm-hmm. We can do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody in particular want to start it off?
Go ahead, Derek.
I'll start off. Like I said, I think Anthony Richardson, even though I did say that they were going to lose, I think Anthony Richardson, he's going to throw the ball, but he's going to have to use his legs a lot. And, quarterbacks who use their legs get a lot of fantasy points. And he's got that big, strong body, no homo, that I feel like he's going to be able to produce a lot of fantasy points with the missing Jonathan Taylor.
I'm going to go with quarterback Jared Goff against the Chiefs. And the same reason we all thinking he's going to have to throw the ball, right? In order to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to throw the ball. And I believe that the Lions are going to have a really high-powered offense this year. So I can definitely see Jared Goff being one of those underrated guys you plug in and goes off for you.
All right. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't pick a quarterback. I didn't do the whole quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end thing. Who's trying to pick a tight end is gonna be a fucking nightmare. But
off the rip.
I mean, the slam dunk easiest one in my mind would be Lamar Jackson. But if you want one that's you can find on the waiver wire, Sam Howell. Sam Howell's playing the Cardinals, and they got a lot of firepower on offense. So that I feel like that's pretty easy waiver pick up there. If you've got a good player going against a good defense, you're like, maybe I should flex this out. Sam Howell, man, ride with him. Let's go ahead and move on to running back now. Anybody?
I mean, I guess I'll go first. We'll keep it steady.
Right.
And I'll have to say Anthony Gibson. Like I said again, you're going against a Cardinals defense who is, like I said, who has a bunch of holes in their system. So they're trying to tank. I think Anthony Gibson is going to be able to, like I said, light up the scoreboard in the run game.
Antonio.
So, oh, is it Antonio? Oh, my bad. Antonio Gibson.
Got what you meant. I got what you meant.
So do you predict that Antonio Gibson is going to be starting over Brian Robinson, or you just think Antonio Gibson is going to get most of the passing work?
Like I said, with his ability to catch the ball too, I think he's going to be able to go out of the backfield and catch a lot of balls to, like I said, help his fantasy relevance. So that's why I think Antonio Gibson is.
Quick question before we go any further. We all made our picks with PPR format in mind, right? Isn't that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So PPR fantasy football must start. So let's get that out of here. For somebody in the standard league, is like, what the fuck, Antonio Gibson? What the hell?
Which is exactly why I'm choosing Aaron Jones versus the Bears, because he's going to be catching passes, especially if Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson miss or are even banged up. I definitely think Aaron Jones is going to catch a few passes. He was kind of showing it in the preseason as well. Aaron Jones versus the Bears. I'm scared of his running, though. I think T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds might make life difficult for Aaron Jones, but he's going to catch a lot of passes.
Good call. I like that one. The running back that I went with, I picked Senor J.K. Dobbins of the Baltimore Ravens. They play the Houston Texans this week, and as you all know, as we talked about earlier, Texans not in great shape. J.K. is back, and he's finally healthy. He had an off season that he had to actually participate in things and rehab a little bit. He's in good shape. He missed 7 weeks last year midseason, but he came back and he averaged 7 yards per carry in his next 4 starts. And in those 4 games, put up 120 yards and a touchdown, 125 yards, 59 yards, and 93 yards. And that was also, just a side note, that was also in Greg Roman's run-heavy offense, and now they're opening things up this year. So maybe JK gets a little more receiving work this year. Texans were dead last in rushing yards allowed by a wide margin last year at 170 yards per game. Texans allowed a healthy 5.1 yard per carry average and 25 touchdowns. And, they got the former linebacker and 49er and Eagle DeMeco Ryans as their head coach now, who is a very defensive-minded coach, I'm sure. But they're not going to be the 49ers overnight. You can lock JK into your lineup this week and feel good about it.
I like that pick. I hope that works out.
I think it is, man. I got faith. Derek, who you got for receiver, man?
Like I said, I have Keenan Allen. Like I said, I think Keenan Allen, as we were talking about, like I said, with the game. Like I said, Miami versus the Chargers. I think Keenan Allen is going to be one of those guys who just they're just going to sling the rock to him every single time. He's, like I said again, he's a big target hog. He's been the target hog for the past couple of years. And I think Keenan Allen is going to come out there and this, like I said, PPR format, he's just going to be catching a lot of targets.
I'm going with contract year T. Higgins. It's time for him to get paid. It's time for him to show it. And he's going up against the Browns. I think Denzel Ward, he's probably going to most likely be shadowing Jamar Chase, which is going to allow T. Higgins to feast on whoever is guarding him. And I got T. Higgins. He might out-target Jamar Chase.
Like that one, that's a bold prediction right there. I, for my receiver, have Jahan Dotson of the Washington Commanders. Obviously, the Commanders are playing the Cardinals. This is another shit team that decent offense is going to be able to take advantage of. Last year, the Cardinals were 24th in passing yards allowed per game. Cardinals also have one of the worst offenses in the league, which means shorter drives and more time for Washington to be on offense, because Washington has a good defense and they're going to get the ball back. Washington also has Eric Bieniemy now as OC, who's been in Kansas City since 2018, and I think that gives him a pretty big boost. Terry McLaurin hurt his toe during the Ravens preseason game on August 21st and hasn't practiced since. I think he's questionable. They don't know anything for sure yet. But even if Terry plays week 1. I don't, he's missed so much time that I could see him on a pitch count or even not even at 100% playing. So Jahan Dotson this week, I feel like big numbers, big numbers, big numbers. Derek, who you got for tight end, man? Let's move it on to the tight end position.
Tight end position, I have Dalton Kincaid. I think Dalton Kincaid, they picked him up first round in the draft. They were looking for a number 2 to pair with Stephon Diggs. I think Dalton Kincaid is going to come out and break the rookie tight end curse.
I can definitely see that. And for my tight end, just for reference, whenever we did these, I picked these before the Cooper Kupp news came out. I just want to say that. But for my tight end, I'm going Tyler Higbee. And I think by now we already know this might just be a home run smash tight end play. Tyler Higbee, the Seattle Seahawks allowed the 4th most points to tight ends last year. This is going to be a home run pick. Cooper Kupp's going to be out. They're going to have a rookie wide receiver. I don't know his name. Pakuka Nanuka. Yeah, let's go with that. They're going to have that guy out there. They're going to have him out there. And Tyler Higbee's going to be the favorite target of Matthew Stafford. This is going to be a home run pick.
Like that pick. Tyler Higbee makes a lot of sense. Tight end is also one of the positions that I didn't pick because I just picked 2 players. And I thought we were good there, but then I saw the shit too late. I don't really... Tight end is also so hard to predict. It's like the most volatile position in fantasy football. You either get 30 points from someone you knew who was going to give you 30 points, or you get 2 from Cole Kmet. There's really not a whole lot of in between. I guess I don't really have a name to throw out for y'all, but I guess a name to watch over the weekend is going to be Isaiah Likely. Keep an eye on Mark Andrews' active status. If he is inactive, even if he's going into I think he's questionable right now. If you have an open spot or you have somebody that you feel comfortable dropping that you can get back off waivers later in the week, I would drop somebody, pick up Isaiah Likely just in case Mark Andrews ends up missing this game, because if Mark Andrews goes out and Likely gets to play, it'll put up numbers. He puts up numbers every time he's on the field, and it kind of pisses me off that Mark Andrews is in front of him because I have him in Dynasty football and I'd really like him to play. But yeah, man, other than that, does anybody have any honorable mentions or anything they want to throw out there while we wrap it up? Any last words?
Oh, I was going to say honorable mention of Van Jefferson. I said because the news of Cooper Kupp, he's going to probably be missing. I said he's going to be target number 1 over there. So honorable mention, Van Jefferson.
Honorable mention, the rookie wide receiver whose name I messed up because he's obviously going to go off now.
I like it a lot. All right, everybody. Well, thank y'all for hanging out for our week 1 episode. I'm glad everybody was here for it. It was a little bit of a work in progress. We're still trying to figure out exactly what segments we're going to do, how long they're going to last, and all that shebang, all the behind the scenes stuff. But thank you all so much for being here. We got the YouTube, we got the Twitter, we got the Kick. All that is down there. It's SMJ Podcast on YouTube, SMJ Pod on Twitter, SMJ Podcast on Kick. But you already know that if you're here. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you drop a follow. Make sure you go follow on all the socials. Thank you all so much. 24 hours? No, it's less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours until football. Let's go.
Let's go.
It's here, baby. We made it. Bye, everybody. Thank y'all.